From Lewis in the Black Horse Pub. Well, there you go. As Christmas is upon us. I've resisted it until the 1st of December, and here it is, the 1st of December. Declan has got the pub half decorated. The other half comes today, so that by the time I get here for my Sunday lunch, it's going to be so pretty. I won't be able to stand it. Yeah, here, Chief of Staff, Declan, looks after us immaculately, absolutely immaculately. Okay. Well, now I'm thirsty after all my ranting, so I think that the first thing that you think about at Christmas, and also when you're thirsty, is wine. So why don't we take a little trip into the area of wine, shall we? Yes, we shall. Here we are, and here, away from the past, is Annie Verrill.
Hello and good afternoon, good morning, good evening. Here we are with the second episode, which is all about wine tasting for all the people out there who are wine connoisseurs or just want to know a little bit more about the wines themselves. So we have with us Mr. Fergus Wood, who will introduce himself and tell you all about his company. Hello, Fergus.
How you
Please
doing?
tell us more about yourself. I'm well, and once we get through all these wines, we'll be even better, probably. How are you?
Exactly. Yes. Yeah. It'll be a great way. We're recording this at lunchtime, so hopefully it should get us into the afternoon quite nicely. Yes,
Just the right time for it.
Exactly. Thursday's the new Friday as well, so at least we're starting early. It's good.
Oh, I like that. That's great.
So yes, I'm Fergus Wood. I'm the founder of Camino del Vino, as you can see in the background. I'm a new startup. We're about to launch a new startup, online wine startup, where you can find us at www.caminodelvino.co.uk.
I think it's very clever of you to have started this company, because I myself, I don't know much about wine. I know there are 3 different colours.
Yeah. There's 3 main colours, but there's orange wines as well. But we'll go with that.
There we go.
Let's keep it simple to start with.
Shall we leave that for later?
Yeah.
Let's have red and white later
white
on for now. Okay, great. So last time you were about to start talking about this beauty here.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Go with a pearl earring, yes.
Which is a Merlot.
Correct.
Lovely. Here it is. And it's Chilean, is it?
It is Chilean, yes, correct, yeah.
Great.
So it went by a different name, the portrait, or the painting, sorry.
Yeah.
I can't remember what it is, or don't really know.
No, that's fine.
It's now just known as the girl with the pearl earring because it is so iconic and so distinct.
Indeed.
But this particular Merlot is also great for the region. It just thrives in the Central Valley, and the Central Valley it's sort of wedged in between the Andes on the east coast, and then it's got small sort of low-lying mountains on the west side. So it really tucks in below there. And Chilean climate is very Mediterranean. It's very warm and sunny. But then sort of it gets that through the day. But then when the cool climate from the top of the Andes comes down, when it comes into the night, it starts to cool all the vineyards down. So it helps mellow out sort of the growing conditions, basically. So it doesn't go ahead of itself, really. It doesn't wear itself out through the growing season. So it sort of cools itself down. It doesn't need to start photosynthesizing. And it basically ends up with a lovely, elegant wine at the end of the day, and which we hopefully crack onto now.
I love the way you told that story. You should be a teacher. It's like a nice piece of geography and a little bit of history, and the story behind it. Well done. Can I open the bottle now?
Yeah, should we do it? Yeah. Let's see, why not? I left mine annoyingly in my storeroom outside, so it's a little bit cool, but I think yours should be at a good temperature.
Yes.
Because you don't want it. Red wines, particularly, you want them to be like 16 to 18 degrees, sort of like. If you have them at room temperature, you should be fine. But mine's a little bit chilled at the moment. But you should just be fine. You should still get the same flavours, which is good. So.
Okay. Right. Let's open that up. Now, before anyone judges out there, this is what we decided on having the red in, right? Mm-hmm. Because I'm not a very big wine connoisseur, I just grabbed whatever glass I had at home. I just wanted to make sure it's not a pint glass.
No. So it's very good. So if you hold it up to the camera, you can see that in a bulb shape.
Yeah.
Sort of like that. Mm-hmm. That's very good for wines in general because it helps collect all the aromas and flavours rather than let them go. So when you do swirl it around and when we go and sniff the wine, you can actually smell all the flavours that are in there. And so it just helps those sort of pinched in walls help the flavours and aromas bounce off and keep inside. So, and where you want to fill it is just below the sort of the widest part of the bulb shape. About there. Just fill it out.
Just below the widest part.
Yeah, you want to fill it at this widest part. You just want to fill it slightly below, especially for tasting, because I'd say that you don't want to. Later on after the recording, you can fill it right back up.
No.
Just for tasting, you want to let all the aromas just tuck in. Whereas if you filled it a little bit higher, they may just sort of go out.
Also, let me just ask about the top. Now, of course, many people believe that if it's not a corkscrew, then it's no good. Mm-hmm. If it's just a screw on. What's the truth behind this?
So, there is a slight bit of truth in that. Yeah, a lot of one of my friends as well. He's very, especially for like these sort of wines, South American wines that do have a corkscrew, he just doesn't. He doesn't believe that good red wines should not be in a corkscrew. It's they should have a cork in it, basically. Just because it's like, what the cork does essentially, it just imparts a different level of flavor onto the wine that maybe the winemaker wants to do. But it's just, again, it could be a cost factor, or very much dependent on what the winemaker wants to do. But I guess it is sort of genuinely true that a lot of the cheaper wines do have screw caps, because it does cost a little bit more to put corks in, redesign the bottle and all that sort of stuff. But there are still very good examples of wines which have twisty caps, screw caps on the top. And so again, it's just like, it's one of those really. You can just take it as you will. Hopefully you'll like this one, and so, which is a good example of it being a good wine and needing a screw cap. But yeah, it's just it imparts a different flavor onto the wine, basically.
Good. Well, thank you. You demystified that.
You're testing me today.
I told you I'm a novice, so whatever pops in my mind, I shall ask. I don't know if it's silly or not. But...
I like it.
Very good. So now to the important part.
The important part.
Is that okay?
Yeah, that's good. That's perfect. Yeah, that's great. I got that. So yeah, what you
swirl.
You just want to give it a quick swirl. And you should be able to, if you just gently put your nose over it, I can you can smell it already. You should be able to smell like fruit flavors already.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah, so they're quite typically, especially for this Merlot, they're typically red fruit flavors, so such as strawberries.
I was going to ask, is there strawberry in there somewhere?
Exactly, yeah. So that's very typical of a good Merlot, and sort of representing what the grape can offer, basically. And so yeah, give it a big swirl, and then if you want to dig deeper, put your nose in it, and you can try and pick up, especially if you do go a little bit deeper, some sort of floral notes as well that maybe the wine should have as well, that could be present in this. You can smell it. I can definitely.
Oh dear. No.
What are you going?
Floral. What type?
If not, no worries. If your nose may not be particularly as attuned as mine, but it's something you may get to develop on later on.
All right.
Yeah. You may as well be able to pick up maybe a slight bit of bell pepper sort of flavored, like green pepper.
Herbaceous.
Yeah, herbaceous. Yeah.
Interesting. You see, I would never have associated green bell pepper with wine.
There we go. Yeah.
It's healthy. It's full of fruit and vegetables. We need more of this.
Yes, exactly.
Right.
Yeah. And then
very good.
So we passed the first test. We've done the smelling. So these sort of flavors as well that you can pick up in the aromas essentially of the wine. You should be able to taste as well when we start to sip the wine as well. So there should be whatever you pick up in your nose should be fairly representative of what you pick up on the mouth as well. But sometimes you may be able to find a couple more flavors that are, for instance, you could not smell on the nose that you could then pick on the tongue.
Right.
But that's just it's dependent on the wine basically, and it's very it's just whatever. It taste is very personal after all. So what you can taste and what you can't taste is entirely up to the person doing it basically. So yeah, we should wait and see.
So turn out I am very rubbish at this, but let's give it a go.
What you want to try and do is when you sip it, you want to try and let the mouth the wine sort of cover the inside of your mouth. So try and swish it around as if you're using mouthwash essentially. So you can get a real, especially for red wines, because they contain tannins. You get this sort of general feel and sort of slight covering, but it's a really pleasant covering of your mouth, and it's a slight drying texture to it as well, which is very representative of red wines. And that's what a lot of people do sort of like, is that sort of slight drying sensation, which helps sort of, it's just nice really. I don't really know how to explain.
You can tell a very good story. Right. Let's see. That's very nice.
Good.
Don't ask me about fruit. I already told you the most important.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we'll just get. That's what I'm saying. As soon as if you pick it up in the nose, just write it down whenever you're tasting. If you're doing a tasting thing, the same again. I've got the exact same one. But yeah, can you sort of feel on your tongue a slight dryness? Yeah, that's what tannins are basically. There's slight dryness, and this particular Merlot as well, given the region that it grows in and the climate, and quite like medium. They're not too in your face. That some wines we may explore later down in the line. They're not too like really boom, but they're not too sort of soft. It's a nice middle ground. It's a nice like midweek wine, I'd say. You just get on with it.
It's very easy to drink.
It's a good conversation wine, though, isn't it?
Yes.
Talking about the label, and then you have a sip, and then you're like, they matched it beautifully, I think.
Very good. So, would you say that different red wines contain more or less tannin, or is the amount of tannin the same? It's not, is it?
Well, in red wine making, for instance, the tannins particularly come from the skins, and maybe sometimes the stems especially in the classic vineyards that they use. They sometimes put the stems in with the fermentation process, but the skins contain most of the tannins, and this is what is distinguished between red wine making and white wine making, is that red wine fermentation process contains all the skins in it with the wines, with the grapes, so all the grapes, whereas in the other one, they crush and then press the white wine, so that it's just the juices that are fermented.
So there's no skin?
So there's no skin at all, yeah. So that's why tannins, you will never feel tannins in white wine.
White wine.
Yeah, it's only applicable to red wine. Yeah.
I like this.
Yes.
Yes, I don't think I like the red wines that contain too much tannin, because when I taste that dryness a bit too much, I can never explain it. It seems, I don't know what's the word for it. What's the best word? Is it too dry then, or too something? But I can never explain. But whenever I taste, go ahead.
I mean, it's quite intense, isn't it? Especially when you do get a big bombshell in your face, in your mouth, of a big tannin grape. It's not for everybody's liking, definitely. But I think definitely this one is a lovely sort of evening. Pop it on
by the fire
party. Now they're in, maybe outside of lockdown periods with other people, friends and stuff like that. You can have a couple of bottles of these on a Friday or Saturday night and let everything go. Yeah. Even
for an everyday wine with some food, or in the evenings, I would definitely recommend. It's very, very nice.
Nice.
Right, just a little bit more and then I'll put it away. Very nice. I feel like I want to eat it.
Good. Can you feel as well? I noticed on my last gulp as well, like my tongue being sort of quite fresh in itself. There's like a minty flavour. That's quite indicative as well of the sort of region and Merlot. It's quite like a lovely little, just fresh, minty eucalyptus sort of feel as well, which again would be the herbaceous sort of side coming into it.
The green peppers, right?
The green peppers, the same sort of category, yeah.
Right, so girl with the pearl earring, I agree. It's very, very good. Very tasty. Thank you very much. I hope one day you will return with another arty wine.
I do. I have another one. I have a Sauvignon Blanc, which we could do, also from Chile as well. So this would be a great opportunity to go, okay, we've done the reds, now we can move on to the white side of Chile. And especially Sauvignon Blanc, one of Chile's best white wine, great varieties that it produces as well. So.
Thank you very much, Fergus. This was very, very nice. I've thoroughly enjoyed this. I shall try it later again, just in case. See if I can recognize the bell peppers later on.
Exactly.
Right. Thank you very much. We shall be back next time. Thank you. Thank you to the viewers, and thank you to lovely Mr. Wood.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you.
Well, from one There we are. I am back, and guess who's with me? Hello, Melissa. How
Hello,
are you,
Keith.
darling?
How are you?
And where are you?
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Oh, yes, I
Oh,
can hear you.
good.
Can you. Yes. Where are you?
I'm in your neck of the woods. Well,
Are you in
certainly in your
Guildford?
country.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful. Well, you're looking gorgeous as always.
Oh, thank you very much, Keith. You're looking quite dapper.
It's the ash what does it.
Yes, yes.
Well, we've just had I've just had a rant this morning. Stamped my little feet and shouted
Oh,
my head off at the local council
oh
for being
no.
stupid.
What
I won't
happened?
even tell you why they're so stupid. But
Oh no.
let's talk to nicer things. Right? What have you done since you landed here?
I've rested a lot
Have you?
and yeah, enjoyed nice times, and I am working a couple of hours a day just to make sure my business doesn't completely go kaput. So yes, but everything is good. It's all good. How about you? How are you?
I'm not too.
How was your birthday?
Oh, thank you. Yes, I managed to get through it without.
I, w- I was I was hoping to hear from you, but I didn't.
Well, it's one of those things that it was one of those fortuitous days, or not fortuitous, because I dashed around and did my things, and I was all ready to extend the program so I could talk to you, and my scooter broke down. So there I was,
Oh,
stranded on the roadside, having to send out for a rescue vehicle to get me back. Everybody in the pub was very
oh,
sympathetic, but it's a bit too heavy for us all to carry. So
oh,
it,
yeah, I could
it,
imagine.
the first part of my birthday was fine. The second part was very poor. But yesterday, the two boys, the two barristers, they said, "Could we extend the program?" And I'm always very happy because they talk about interesting things, and they've been talking about
Mhm.
Napoleon this week. And they came in with a bottle of wine and a fudge cake and so on, and had a little
Oh,
birthday party for me. So I was very lucky.
how nice, how nice.
But you will recognise that
I
I'm a
was
little bit
thinking of
older.
visiting. Oh, no, you're younger. I was going to say that. Look at
Oh, you
you.
smooth talker, you.
Perhaps I might come to visit tomorrow.
Oh, that'd be
I
lovely.
might come to Lewis tomorrow to visit.
Great.
So let me know,
I shall keep the day free.
because I do quite like it.
Okay. Well, text me
Wonderful.
or
Very
phone
good.
me
All
or
right, so
whatever.
maybe we'll do that.
Yes, that'd be splendid.
Sure.
That would be
Absolutely.
very nice. Yes, indeed.
Very good.
That would be
Very
a
nice.
very nice way of. It is going to be rather cold, but then Lewis is very good with pubs, so not least of the one
Okay.
I'm sitting in
It's
now.
warm pubs. I do need to get one Christmas for my son, and you know what that gift is, right?
Yes, indeed.
Think about it.
Well,
Okay.
it's open, and strangely enough,
Of course.
I showed a half of the episode today of our documentary, which shows that pub and Miles Jenner, of all things. So perhaps what we might do is we might just sort of invade the premises if you're here tomorrow and see if he's there.
Sure.
Okay.
Absolutely. That sounds
Yeah.
good. And then I can get my gifts for Christmas, and I don't have to worry. Fantastic.
Yeah, absolutely.
Very good. Mhm.
But now,
Very good.
strangely enough, we were talking this morning with Philip about the English Civil War and the fact that there are three major centres. One was Lewis, one was Chichester, and the other was the name has gone for a moment, and it'll come back to me. It's only because of my memory loss, not because it's an unimportant town even today. Arundel, and how the various sieges were held, because it was a bit before bombs. But I think that Guildford was above all that. I don't think that Guildford got involved in the Civil War that much. But you will ask the authority who lives there, won't you? Can you hear me?
I certainly will.
Yes.
I
Okay.
certainly will, and I'll let you know.
Okay.
Yes, I
All
can
right.
hear you. It is going in and out a little bit, but
Yes,
yes.
we had some problems with the internet earlier, but ours seems to be okay. I think that probably the country, because of the cold, is suffering from it. So we'll just have to motor on. Yes.
Yes.
Right.
The cold. It's funny because it really it's not really very different than New York. New York is very cold too, so it's not. It's funny. I seem when I'm here to stay on New York time
Yes.
because I go to sleep and I get up late, but I'm not really late because I'm on New York time.
Yes.
So if I get up at 10 o'clock, I've actually gotten up at 5. So no guilt.
But actually, from my days of
That's
traveling,
nice.
which I don't do anymore because I'm really not capable, but I used to try and stay as close to time for a while and come down gently, because if you come down
Right.
very fiercely, all you do is you just stay tired,
Oh,
and that's no
very
enjoyment at all. Yeah.
yes.
Right. Well, so you're coming to
Exactly.
US
But
tomorrow. Are you going to do some shopping in London? Have you been to London, or are you going to London?
no, not yet. Probably maybe next week.
Right.
Sometime
How
next
long are you here?
week I'll go. I'm here till the 13th.
Oh, good. A good while yet then. Yes, you're only just at the start, only the first.
Right.
I actually played a little bit of Christmas stuff today for the first time. I resisted it,
Oh, good.
even though everybody else is putting everything else up for Christmas. What's it like in New York at the moment?
Mm. Yeah, everybody's Christmasing. Yeah, it's I put up my little manger, and yeah, it's all the same. Everybody with the lights, and then the big Christmas tree in New York City at Rockefeller Center that's coming up. And then my big event is going to my son's concert at Carnegie Hall on December 18th.
Which date is that?
So I'm quite excited about that.
Which date is that?
Sorry. Oh, what state?
Yes.
New York City.
Yeah. Which date is the concert?
Oh, which day? I'm sorry. Yeah. The 18th of December.
Right. What day is that?
So it's they'll be performing.
What day is it?
It is Monday, and they're performing on Monday.
Right. Well, can I suggest
the 18th? The 18th. Yes. Monday the 18th.
Can I suggest then that what you do is Monday the 18th will be our very last day of broadcasting before Christmas and before we come back for the New Year. But I was going to actually invite absolutely everybody who's involved with us to come on to the program that day. So would you like to come on and you can tell us the preparations that Connor is making for appearing at Carnegie Hall? That would be absolutely fantastic.
Wonderful.
Because it is a signal.
Oh, yeah, it's very exciting.
Yes, indeed.
It's very exciting because I just found that, so here's the story with me is I just love to go and enjoy the music performing Handel's Messiah, which is a massive piece of work. See, when we think of Messiah, we don't think of this massive piece of work. We think of the Alleluia chorus, correct? So, but it's more than an hour long. It's very, very expensive. So I have a lot of folks that are coming to visit and to see it, but they're not classical music. They're not classical music connoisseurs, so they not going to necessarily understand it. So I don't want to have to sit there and entertain them. But I think I might have to.
The Hallelujah chorus is magnificent anyway. I mean, it's overwhelming, isn't it? No matter what your level of musical knowledge. Yeah.
Yes. It's all of the other parts of the Messiah that they don't know, and that's over an hour.
now, Melissa,
it's interesting.
We all fall into this trap of mentioning stuff, assuming that everybody knows. Give us a very brief history of Carnegie Hall.
Actually, it was built in the 1920s by Andrew Carnegie, the big steel magnate, and he had gone to a concert. I think this was the story. Anybody can correct me if I'm wrong. He heard a performance of the Oratorio Society of New York, which is the choir, Connor singing in, and he was so enthralled that he built this building for them to perform. And they became the official choir of Carnegie Hall. And they still are. Pretty much, I would say. The other choirs do perform there, but they are, and so it's just and it's so amazing to be able to do that. So, so that's the history of it. And one of the funny things about it, physically, it's absolutely beautiful. The acoustics are amazing. Carnegie went to make sure that you can say hello on the stage and it would sound lovely. Right. I've actually performed there 3 times, so wow. I understand. And honestly, before he had a previous concert where he performed Bach's Magnificat, and he was in the choir, Bach's Magnificat and Mozart's Requiem, 2 of my favorites. And it was the first time that I was actually an audience member at Carnegie Hall. I'd always been on the stage. So it was quite an experience, and I'll tell you why. Just think about it. In the 1920s, when it was built, think about the size of people back then. They were relatively small and short, shorter legs. So, and I'm slender, certainly for American standards, and I had trouble sitting in the seat. I had trouble. It was too short. So my knees were up into the next seat, and I'm thinking. So, and then I'm thinking to myself, I have all these friends coming in December, and they're large. What am I going to do? I'm not going to be able to fit. It's like an airline seat these days. It's in economy. That's what it feels like at Carnegie Hall. So I'm like, I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know. I have a friend who's very rotund and really wants to go to support Connor. So I'm like, okay, how about an aisle seat? Maybe that might help.
Yes. Perhaps you could find some standing room.
That's what I was thinking. Maybe standing room might be better.
How many people does it hold?
It's such a beautiful, beautiful venue.
How many people does it hold?
I don't know. I'd have to look that up. Let me take my handy dandy computer now and see if I can find an answer to them, gentlemen, and I will do that. You have all these. Yeah, let me find some answers to these questions. I know Carnegie from my perspective. Hang on a second. Let's see, some history. Sorry about that. I know I'm changing the view. All right, let's take a look. What's happening at Carnegie Hall? It really is lovely. Explore. All right, Carnegie Hall. I think if we go to the website, go right. Oh, it's so scaffolding everywhere in the city. Oh, can you hear me?
Yes, we lost internet for a moment there. I'll just double check to make sure everything's all right at our end.
Okay.
It should be okay. Go ahead.
Okay. Let's see. All right. So, yeah. Okay. I'm just gonna kind of read off that. Let's see. So if I don't know if anybody listening knows, it's in Midtown Manhattan, which is it's fairly centrally located. It does take quite a walk from Grand Central Station, so you have to be able to. That's another thing. You have to be able to walk. My guests really can't walk, so I have to actually drive them in. I have to drive into the city. But it's got, it says it's got 3,671 seats, and it's divided among 3 different sections, and a couple of, well, there's actually a couple of different auditoriums, but the main one, yeah. So yeah, so it was constructed in the late 1800s. I was wrong about that. So it was like between 1889 and 1891. And it was the venue that was shared with the Oratorio Society and the New York as well. It was owned by the Carnegie family until 1925. And that's when Robert Simon became the owner. It was apparently it was also proposed to be demolished in the 1950s when the New York Philharmonic was relocated to Lincoln Center. And then they saved it as a natural historical landmark. And it was protected by the Preservation Commission. So yeah, it's a very pretty building, great history, and just so excited. It's right near the famous Russian tea room, which, oddly enough, I've never been. So, I think it's something, I think the whole thing with Russia, although the owners are very much against the war in Ukraine, so it's still, I'll have to go at some point. But yeah, it was beautiful. It's a beautiful venue. It really is a beautiful venue, and with no expense was spared for the acoustics.
Michael, Michael, meet Melissa. Michael is part of our backup staff. He looks after us beautifully.
Hello. Oh, very nice.
Melissa
nice to meet you, Michael.
Normally from New York, but right at this very moment in time, she's come over to Guildford.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah. And so Michael looks after us. He really does.
Oh, very good.
Great guy.
Thank you for taking care of Keith, Michael. Thank you.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Now, tell us about the choirs because who runs this choir that you and Connor sing in?
Actually, Connor just sings in it. I have sung in many choirs, but I wanted to make this his.
Right.
So I purposely didn't audition. And it's, let's see if we can get a little bit of background on that. I know Connor could tell you, but he's not here. Oratorio Society. Okay, let me give you some background on the Oratorio Society. I honestly really should know this. My apologies. Well, I'll know it now. No, it's, yeah, they sing in oratorio style. So for those of you who don't know really oratorio, it's more of a choir, a lot of church settings. So it'll be requiems, masses, those kinds of pieces of music. Again, Messiah. It's a music like the Messiah. So you have your choir and you have your soloists. Big pieces of music by great music, great composers.
Yes.
So.
And are these choirs run by private groups?
Yes.
Yeah.
Run by private groups.
Right.
So Anton Rubinstein, it was really the very wealthy of New York, of course, who had the time to do these kinds of things. That created these societies. And let's see, rehearsals of the society began in March of 1873. And so apparently on December 3rd, the society just presented its first concert. And yeah, Handel's Messiah. Isn't that odd? 1 year later, on Christmas night, the society began what had become an unbroken tradition of annual performances of Handel's Messiah Christmas time. Because it's not necessarily a Christmas piece of music. It's actually meant really more for the spring. But this is something, a tradition that they always perform Handel's Messiah. And here's another little Connor story. This time last year, he went to Carnegie Hall to watch this perform, and while he was sitting there enjoying the music so much, he said to himself, I'm going to be up on that stage next year.
Oh, he is a determined young man,
this is
isn't
not
he?
an easy choir. Yes, this is not a group that is easy to get into. You must have a beautiful, incredible voice, and you must be able to sight sing on demand. Here's a piece of music, sing.
All right.
No. So he trained himself to do that, because it does take training. So so it was in 1884 that Andrew Carnegie Society's board of directors, and serving as its president. And 3 years later, he decided that he was going to build this hall suitable for choir music. And apparently there was a very famous architect, William Tuthill. I don't know if you have any architects watching. And so, yeah, it was, that's how it all transpired. So, but, beautiful, like, masses and requiems and, that's really a lot of what it is. That's a majority of what oratorio is. And it's funny because I had started my music career singing Broadway and jazz. I tried a little opera. And then I had joined our choir, and I guess the director was enthralled with me. So, and I was a young college student, was enthralled with my, hopefully it was just me, but I had an alto voice, very, but it was beautiful, youthful alto voice, right? And he always gave me the solos.
Wow.
And and so there was, my first solo performance was Bach's Magnificat, and I was the alto soloist, and they had given me the duet. So it was an alto tenor duet, Et Misericordia, for anybody who knows Mozart's Bach's Magnificat. And I didn't know who my tenor was going to be. Had no idea. My roommate at the time, Sue, still very good friends with Sue, she comes in and she brings me a copy of Time magazine. And she says to me, go to the music section and look at the man in the music section being profiled, and that's who you're singing with.
Wow.
I'm like, what? So I opened it up. I'm like, who am I singing with? Right? And it was the new tenor at the Metropolitan Opera, Konstantin Kasolas. I'm like, me? I was barely out of high school. And, he was an opera tenor, could have blown me completely out of the church, but he kept this beautiful balance between my voice and his. And it was so pretty, because it almost sounded like a grandfather and granddaughter singing together. And I was at that point, I was hooked on oratorio. That was it. I just had to be, and it's still part of my life. So yes. I've sung with various groups. I just love it. I love being part of the choir, and then being the soloist. So you're standing in the front, just to give you an idea what it's like. You're standing in the front of this massive choir at an orchestra, and you are the star, and they're filling in all the sounds around you. It's so amazing.
Oh, I can imagine being immersed. I was going to say, would you ask your hosts if they can possibly take you to Evensong at Westminster Abbey?
Yes, I'll have to at some point. Yeah. Definitely, that's one of my venues. I would love to go. I just, like I said, choir music is my love.
It's short, but you're totally immersed, particularly with his influence, you should be able to get into the choir stalls.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah, very nice.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Very good.
Well, you're giving us a really fascinating view of Carnegie Hall, and hopefully you'll phone us, or not phone us, but come on the show on Monday the 18th, is it?
Yes.
Yes, Monday the 18th. Sorry,
Mhm.
make sure we've got that date right. Monday the 18th, so that we can get a preview of Connor's big day, and you're
It's so
looking
exciting.
after all the
So
relatives,
exciting.
no matter what the size.
I've got 7 people to take care of. I can't fit them in my car.
You probably have to get a shuttle service going.
To hire a limousine. Like, anyway, well, it was wonderful
Lovely.
talking to you, Keith.
Yeah, lovely to talk to you, and I'm so pleased that you're on English terra firma for a little while, and hopefully we'll
It's
see
been
you
lovely
tomorrow.
here. Very good.
Okay,
Toodles. Toodle pip.
toodle pip. Melissa Conti, our New York correspondent, who's in here in the UK for a day or two. Now, I've had some people send in a little note, and unfortunately, I can't. The Nextdoor app plays fast and loose with my system, and I can't get all the details. But I wonder if I can tell you about just a couple of things as best I can, and publicize them, because I would like to. I'd like to do that if we can do it. Let's see. No, that's a petition. Anyway, St. Mary's Magdalene Hall at 6 o'clock tonight. 6 o'clock tonight, yes. At the 1st of December, there is a fair. So that's 6 o'clock St. Magdalene's Hall, and I think that's in Colbean. There's a craft fair. And I'm not absolutely sure where that is. Let's see if I can actually find out, because it would be nice for us to help trying to get some details for you. It's the competing systems, unfortunately, and they don't always mix terribly well, I'm afraid. Eventually, I'm sure that it'll all settle down. But there's St. Wolfran's has got a Christmas fair coming up, and a couple more. How dreadful that I can't. I can't actually get the details up. I wish I could, but I will. I will. The important one is today at St. Mary's Magdalene Hall, Coldean, Christmas market starting at 6 o'clock, and there's a craft fair. I think that it's tomorrow, and let's see if this helps at all. No, it's not helping, I'm afraid. But anyway, we've got the most important one, which is tonight. And we will now. We're not used to people sending stuff in, and I'm delighted that you have. And let's see whether we can actually make sure that in the future that we get these things, and we are able to let you know about them, because although it's not our remit, we are always very willing to get involved with our viewers, and very happy we are to do so. So I apologise for the fact that we are going to be less than helpful in terms of reading out to you what's on, but it came to us a little and partway through the morning. But do please come into the Nextdoor app is the one that we want to look at, and we try hard to bring that to you. I don't think that I can do it another way.
So bad. I really wanted to both praying up a little back.
There is so much that comes into here that to scroll through it at the last minute is a bit difficult. But I will most certainly look at this from here on in. And forgive me if I'm sort of looking at. But there are several Christmas efforts starting, and so just look in the Nextdoor app, and you should be able to find out what on earth is going on. And we're very happy to help you in the future. In fact, I'm going to make this a feature of checking on a daily basis to see what is up there, so we can let you know. There is one here from the House of Friendship. We're keeping the lights shining late for you. Join us on December the 7th from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. Get ready to jingle all the way. This is late night shopping, I think. Our choir and ukulele will be performing carols at 6:30 p.m. Mulled wine, mince pies, hot chocolate. Wow! And I'm sure that those are reflected all the way around the town and around the region. So do keep your eyes open. Do check all the avenues where you can get this information, and hopefully you'll be able to get some idea of what's going on. So I'm sorry that's less than perfect. We are trying, and we will try even harder. What do you think of that? Okay, well, as I've had my rant about Boxing Day, and I'm not going to forget it. I'm going to keep on until such time as they see what idiots they've been. Never mind. That's only an opinion. Only an opinion. But we do have opinions on this program. We are not biased. We just have opinions. We don't go up against anybody for the sake of what they believe. Only what they do sometimes. Till Monday morning, when we will rejoin you. This is Keith Hayes with Mirador Television. From where? Guess where? Toodle pip. See you Monday morning. From Lewis in the Black Horse Pub.